Well, good morning. How are you all today? What are you going to do when this country explodes? That's a question for today. A lot of people are concerned about that. What do you think? Is this country going to explode? Well, uh, let me give you my opinion on that. They're already getting ready. Of course, we know that the Democrats are doing everything they can to set up the steal on this. I just read that Michigan has 53 counties with voter registration exceeding their population. What do you think about that? They know that this is well, I won't say their last chance. I think that this is conservatives' last chance, but the libs slash socialists slash Marxists slash communists always play the long game. They always have another chance, but they don't want to let this get away from them. This is an historical election for them. So what could happen um, if if Kamala Harris wins this? I'm going to tell you something interesting that I saw too about the different demographics for voting. If Kamala Harris wins, this country, in my opinion, will not explode. There are going to be a lot of upset people, a lot of people grousing, a lot of people complaining on you know the internet. A lot of people, I don't know, but nothing will happen. I'm not convinced that anything will happen. I think that we have seen uh, the what should I say? I think we've seen the tenor of those who say that they would rise up. Okay, and the truth of it is that it won't happen. Things just aren't bad enough yet. Um, I mean, it doesn't mean that they won't get bad. And this is one thing that a Harris victory could victory right could ensure that things will continue getting so bad that it will bring us to that breaking point. So who knows? Um, if Trump wins, there there will be this country will explode, but it's not going to explode all over the place, and that's what I want to. I'll give you a little advice here, a little warning about this. It's interesting to me that at least in my area, and I have no reason to believe it would be different in other areas. When you're in the major metropolitan areas, and that's where the votes are, to be honest. Uh, the more affluent areas you get into, the more Harris Walls signs you see. Now think about that for a minute. I was kind of surprised when I realized this, but maybe I shouldn't be. Now I will also say that in the more affluent areas, the conservatives have a tendency not to be overtly or publicly involved in political speech, right? Because you get out into there, you're talking about business people and things like that, and politics and business, can mix like oil and water. But there are a lot when you get out into my area, you see very few. I can't. I have seen one Trump sign. Now it doesn't mean that there aren't a lot of Trump voters out here, but I have seen one Trump sign, and I've just seen hundreds of Harris Walls signs. Now, when you get into the less affluent areas, now we're seeing more Trump signs. Okay, when you get outside of the metropolitan area, and of course, that's all you see is Trump signs, which is nice. I like getting out of the city. Kelly and I are headed up to Lincoln, Nebraska here in about an hour. And I know as soon as I get out of the metro area, I'll see nothing but Trump signs. And that makes you feel good. But, feeling good isn't what brings about results, right? Now, what happens if Trump wins? And he should. I mean, he will. He will get more real votes cast by real people. Okay. But what happens if shenanigans occur again? And well, let me say this: shenanigans will occur. But what happens if it's too big to steal and Trump does win? That's where you're going to run. And it's good, right? But now you have to watch out because there will be places that will explode. Now, the small towns aren't going to explode, right? The rural areas aren't going to explode. Uh, the the suburbs are not going to explode because these people are smarter than the people in the inner cities, and you can't get a big group out here to, to try to get all upset and do a march. They tried that here, just about a mile north of me here, and some group from the city got together and tried to do a BLM march. George Floyd, blah blah blah, everything like that down us, and the police they let them walk down, the main street. There was about 15 of those people, and they let them walk down the main street. They told them, here's where you can walk, here's where you can't walk, and the cops were surrounding them, and they watched them. People honked their horn and yelled at them and stuff like that. As soon as they turned off into a street where they weren't supposed to be, man, the cops were on them like flies on what, and they were face planted and hauled off for booking. But so you're not going to get a bunch of problems in the suburbs. Where you will find problems are in the cities. They'll be ginned up. They'll have another winter. It'll be a winter of love this time, and it will continue. But the danger is going to be at places like, in my opinion, entertainment venues, things like that. And I don't mean stadiums. I don't mean things like that. I don't mean big concerts. Do you remember when all those yahoos were going into restaurants and raising hell and raising Cain about that? That's what I would anticipate happening. Anybody with a Trump sign, excuse me, half a second. Anybody with a Trump decal on their vehicle might want to take it off, because if you don't always have eyes on your vehicle, something could happen. Now, I will, because I'm like this. If Trump wins, even if he doesn't, I'll probably continue to wear my Trump hat out in public. That's just me. I'm not saying that's the thing to do. I'm not saying that's smart. But I have always had this little element in my personality that I like to poke, and make a statement and let the world know what I think. And but like I said, I don't do it when I'm going through a drive-through. I don't do it when I'm going to a restaurant. I do it when I go to Home Depot and the grocery store and places like that. But I would be careful. I know that a lot of people are kind of worried about this latest DOD thing that they say allows active duty military to fire on U.S. citizens within the United States. I guess I'm not sure that that's anything to really be that concerned about. I don't think that if Harris gets in, I don't think that they're going to be declaring martial law. I know that upsets a lot of people when I go against this fear stuff, but I don't think that they will. They're going to do it through legislation and executive orders. And if Harris gets in, I think it's going to be because of problems with voting, and I think that there's a possibility that they could take back the House. Now, that makes it very dangerous. It gives you an entirely different scenario to deal with. And I think it's necessary. This is not the point to be upset about things. Well, be upset to the point to where you'll do something, right? But not just to be upset about for the sake of being upset. Now's the time to get out there, try to persuade people. If you have a YouTube channel, get that out there. Try to persuade people. Try to persuade people that you know in your life to vote right. And if things go our way, great. But like I say, that's gonna present a danger, one kind of danger. If things don't go our way, it's going to present another kind of danger that's more long term. And probably one of the best things well, no, I won't get into that. It gets so complicated that probably deserves its own video. But just be ready, be aware, have everything with you that you need. If you work in a city, which many people do, a lot of people work in the suburbs and they are live in the suburbs and they work in the cities. And if you have to drive into a city, be aware. Be aware of what's going on around you. When it's time to get ready to leave work, check the news. See if there's big riots going on somewhere. You don't want to drive through that. Make sure that you have your protection equipment with you. Make sure that you have extra food in your bag in your vehicle, and a change of clothes, and everything that you need. You ought to have another change of clothes, and a lower drawer in your desk full of food in case you decide, I don't think I'll drive through this mess on the way home tonight. I'll stay at the office tonight. Those are the things that I would consider. Beyond that, everything else is pretty much conjecture. Everything else is pretty, hypothetical, and we could go down the hypothetical road, forever, and really find ourselves just going in circles with the what ifs, what ifs, what ifs, what ifs. And until something happens, we're not going to know what if. And so it doesn't really serve any purpose to get all hyped up about it. It does serve a purpose to be prepared for it. Here again, I say that don't let people wind you up on this stuff. They just want to get you upset. They kind of want to include you in their being upset, and I get it. I mean, I get people who are upset what's going on. I am too, but I like to use my energy in deciding how I'm going to deal with it, and I suggest that you use your energy that way too. How are you going to deal with it? What do you think is going to happen? And are you getting ready to deal with it? Okay. All right. Well, we're about to hit the road, heading up to Lincoln for Kelly's painted tree booth to put some more stuff in there. And I would say this, that if, as I say so often, continue to think about increasing your income, because your income is what enables you to get the things that'll help you to be more prepared. Okay. All right. Somebody asked me, I should have started with this, because by now most of the people are gone. They're not still watching. People say, why aren't you upset, Steve? You just sit there like nothing's going on, and you don't get excited, and you tell us how happy you are with life, and you just kind of sit there with no look on your face. This is my happy face. That's just not the way. I don't get upset at things. I don't get upset. I figure if there's a problem, let's figure out how to fix it, and getting upset isn't going to do it. You all have a great day. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.